Is there anything that kind of you would say to anyone who is not 100% happy in their current job? Because I always like to, and tell me if this resonates with you, there is your job and there's your career.
Yeah.
And you can change jobs in your career. So maybe what would you say to someone that's not happy in their current job or even career, or just, a bit itchy or
Yeah,
whatever?
I think it's about finding what resonates with you and what you think you can do long term. Obviously, most of us are going to work for a pretty decent chunk of our life, and you want to be able to enjoy that. You don't want to be going to a job that you don't want to turn up for every day. So if you're in something that isn't giving you some level of joy in some way, then figure out what it is that might do that. And for me, I thought it was law and I thought it was that research side of it. But really, when I started doing the numbers and the analysis and really talking with people, that's where I felt most comfortable.
Yep.
So it's trying to figure out those little things as to what you can build into a career and then making those changes.
Your kids' ages, what are they again?
8 and 6.
Yeah, 8 and 6. So effectively, you potentially both – is your husband around the same age?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years older.
Yeah.
Yep.
So mid to late 30s vibe. When you embarked on – so at age 27, you're like, I need to start uni. I want to make a change.
Yeah.
How long had you been with your husband?
We've been together.
Oh, stop. Wait.
We've been married nearly 18 years.
Are you a high school
Well,
sweetheart?
I was in year 12.
Okay.
So we were not technically in high school, but
Did you meet at high school?
it's
school?
a really weird story
Oh, gosh.
in that we actually went to the same high school. We caught the same bus home. We have family friends that are like we've been surrounded the whole time. We actually sat on the same table of the quad but on opposite sides and just never really crossed paths. And then, I happened to pick a friend up after work one night from a party and he was there and recognised me from school straight up. So it's very...
But you didn't recognise him?
I did,
okay,
but he kind of spotted me and made a comment straight up.
Okay, so when you were embarking on, I want to start uni and pivot my career, I'm 27, were the thought of children actively on your mind, or was it always like, oh, let's do this and then change?
Kids have always been actively on our mind. I was 20 when we got married, so we'd been married for a long time at that point as well, and kids were always an option, but we knew that we wanted to be financially secure and have good direction before we brought any kids into the situation.
Yeah.
And so we knew we were both still trying to figure out what we wanted to be when we grew up and get that planned. So we were trying to get that at least started and on track before we went down the path of kids.
So when you got married at 20 up until, call it 27, where you went to full-time uni, what was your financial priorities? To smash a mortgage or travel?
Still didn't have a mortgage at that point. We were trying to save for a mortgage.
Yeah.
We did a bit of travel. We really weren't very financially clever when we were younger. So we probably spent money on things that we really shouldn't have spent money on and just
gotta
blew
live,
it.
right?
Yeah, we were just, having fun in our 20s and enjoying that time of our lives with not a lot of financial direction, which is another reason why I think going into advice was something that I wanted to do and really helping that younger generation steer themselves through that life stage to get themselves sorted earlier.
How important do you think it is when you are in that professional world to also have your own house in order?
100%, very important.
Yeah.
There's no point trying to preach to others about how to do things if you're not doing it yourself. You need to understand the process, you need to understand the sacrifices, you need to understand exactly what needs to happen in order to be able to have those genuine discussions with clients at the same time.
Years ago, I had a lawyer on the podcast talking about wills and estate planning, and I found out after that this individual didn't have their own.
Wow.
And I called the boss and said, that individual's not coming on my podcast ever again until they get their own house in order.
Yeah.
Because I just think that's cute, but sort your, if you're a plumber and your tap's leaking, I get it.
Yeah.
But fix it.
Yep. Yep.
Like we're all human, all that. But if you're doing what you do every day and you're doing it for other people and your own house is a freaking debacle, stop, because the authenticity of it goes out the window.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what next in your financial life?
So we have just sold our house recently. Ooh. So we are hopefully in the process of exchanging on a block of land this week.
Great.
And then we are
Doing
going to
again.
scarily tackle living in a caravan at my parents' house for 12 months while we build.
Yeah, gosh.
So that's next for us.
Have you picked out builders and all that? Or
Yeah, so we've got a builder in mind. We've got our first tender. We're just going through the process of getting those plans changed to exactly what we want.
Was it a new estate or like a infill or
Yeah, no, it is a new estate, but it's sort of right at the back of that new estate, so it's a bit bigger than your average block of land in an estate these days.
Yeah. So you got 12 months of caravanning, living.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you'll make it?
I think we'll be fine. We do go in the caravan fairly often, and we've already got a month planned where we'll be on the road in the van, so we won't be at the house. My parents often caravan as well, so we'll have full use of the house as needed as well. So we will make it work so that we don't have to rent and pay for a mortgage at the same time.
Well, good luck to you. Anything else that you wanted to add that you thought could be good to talk about?
I would just say that if there's anybody out there that wants to get into financial advice, is already in the process of it, Sky is always looking for new talent. So please jump onto our website and have a look at what's there currently.
Do you have like a careers section or whatever?
We do, yeah. So sky.com.au/careers.
Did Phil put you up to this?
He did not, but we are always looking for new people.
Yeah, okay.
We would love friends at Sky.
Yeah. And you heard of Sky through a podcast, did you?
Yeah. It was through one of your podcasts that I originally heard of them. Basically, when I finished uni, I was trying to listen to a lot of those financial podcasts just to try and keep up my information while I was not jumping careers.
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed to get my insurances sorted, but like most people, had put it at the bottom of my list. And then, heard of Sky and jumped on through there.
Love it. Aimee, thank you so much for encouraging everyone and being so open and honest with your career story today.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, you might not have a complex financial plan, but you can always give some, save some, and spend some, preferably in that order if you can, and you'll be on your merry way. Thanks all. Bye. Thanks for listening to today's podcast. If you want to support us, there is one way you can do that. You can send the episode to a friend, a family member, or your group chat if you think those people would find it valuable. We also thank you for leaving a review on Apple or Spotify. If you've listened to this podcast for some time, or if you've read any of my books, you would know that giving and generosity in a financial sense is a big thing in my life. If you think it's time that you are ready to give financially to a good cause, you could head to our website, moneypodcast.com.au/charities to see the charities that we support.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the product disclosure statement, PDS, and target market determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds Financial Services Licence 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective licence holders.